Welcome in, everybody. Josh here from 8-Bit Goonies. I have a great video for you tonight. But before we get into that, just want to remind everybody we will be giving away a box live on stream. I'm going to crack it, and I will send all of the hits to somebody anywhere in the world. Details are in the link below. Just go to that video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like that video. You'll be entered to win. We're on our way, folks. We're almost to 1,000. It's so exciting. I want to thank everybody so much. So let's get into tonight's discussion, which is going to be one of my favorite discussions, a great debate I like to have, and that is natural attrition versus manufactured scarcity. All right. We're going to go down to the board here in just a minute. I want to just go through. I grabbed a bunch of random items out of my collection that meet both criteria. I collect both. I'm not going to say I am partial to. I am slightly partial to one, and you'll see my biases play out throughout. But let's define it first. Mainly attrition. I think we know what manufactured scarcity is, but we'll define it all clearly. But first off, attrition, right? Most people think of attrition. They think the battle of attrition, right? Two armies at war, but neither one can get the upper hand. But who can outlast? Who can wear the other one down? Who can starve the other one out? That's the war of attrition, right? So attrition, by definition, I have it up here. The gradual reduction or weakening of something, especially through strength or sustained pressure. Okay? So think about it like this. When I was a kid in the 80s, the 90s, and certainly prior to that, people didn't have expected value of collectibles. Baseball cards, football cards. Think about it in the 60s, the 70s, comic books, Pokemon when they first came out. It happens with newer products as well. The perceived value of it being collectible is not there. Sometimes something has to hit absolute zero. One of the examples I can think of is Magic the Gathering cards. The collector deck, the championship decks, they go for a lot. There's a guy's cradle, the gold border ones. We had those in the giveaway bins. We couldn't give them away. We took them out to the dumpster in the late 90s and early 2000s. Nobody wanted them. Big box PC games. Some of those are high-end collectibles now. We had them on a $10 wall. A lot of them we just shipped back to the distribution because we couldn't sell them. It was a shame. We'd mark them down to $1 and try to give them to people. Another big one I can think of are game strategy guides. Pokemon ones are worth a lot now. Some of those Final Fantasy VII, some of those old ones are worth a good amount. We used to give them away, or I'd haul them down to the dumpster and haul them and throw them in the dumpster and get rid of them. So that's natural attrition, right? These are items that were plentiful when they were released, and now they just aren't plentiful at all. So what I want to do, let's go down to the board here. So we'll go woo, and let's have a look at some stuff. So let's start with looking at some manufactured scarcity. We've talked about some natural attrition. So here's a manufactured scarcity play, right? This is a Ronald Murray. I used to collect basketball cards, right? So this is numbered to 200. Now, there's cards in Magic the Gathering now that are numbered to 200, 500. They're getting a pretty penny. Just because something is limited doesn't make it worth anything. This card, look, I had it marked for $3. Couldn't sell it. That is a manufactured scarcity card, autographed by him. It's his rookie card. There's only 200 of them in the world. But you think somebody wants to give me $3 for that? No. Manufactured scarcity. It doesn't work. Then we get into some other stuff here. And to be fair, it's all about the player, right? So there's a Chris Mullin. That's a rare card. That's hand signed on the card. It's one of those clear cards, numbered to 25. And a Bill Laimbeer autograph. Two of my favorite players. Again, it's manufactured scarcity. The problem with manufactured scarcity in my book is that everybody who's ever pulled this card has taken good care of it. It's never had attrition, right? Let's look at some newer Pokemon cards, right? These are obviously some very high-end, modern, very recently printed Charizards. These are manufactured scarcity cards, right? The only reason they're worth money, aside from the fact that they're Charizard, but there's Charizard cards that are not worth money, right? Is because they are super scarce and super sought after. However, these will never go through natural attrition. Nobody will ever be like, what is that? And put it in their bicycle spokes or throw it away, right? Nobody will ever crack this out of a pack and then play with it unsleeved. That's, I don't know. The problem with that is that these cards are always limited. Nobody's kids these days, they might have this as a chase card, and they might get one of these, but they're not going to get the collection of a ton of these to where they get nostalgic for it in the future. And that's the danger with manufactured scarcity, is that people don't have nostalgia down the line for this. They may want it because it's a card that they never could have as a kid, and now they want it. I understand that. That's different. But you talk about something with natural attrition, right? We're talking about old Magic cards, old Pokemon cards, right? These are cards that kids would have played with, and they would have not been worth anything. They would have been played unsleeved. There was a decent amount of them made. And so to have something now in good condition that's gone through that attrition, let's say, let's just throw a number out there. Let's say there's 1,000 of these and there's 10,000 of these made, just proportionately, right? This card has never gone through attrition. So there's still that initial 1,000. Every one of them that's come out of pack has gone into an immediate sleeve. They're all kept in pristine shape. The original 10,000 of this, I know it's much higher, but we're just using numbers as an example, would have gone through severe attrition, right? Kids would have played with this unsleeved. It would have been traded around in the schoolyard. It would have been lost. They would have been damaged. Same with these, old legend cards from the 90s. They didn't have initial value beyond a couple of dollars. They were kids' prized possessions, don't get me wrong, but they weren't financially viable at the time. So they weren't kept in the best condition. So let's say now there's 1,000 of each of these in mint condition. Which one would you rather have? I don't know. It's a tough one, but this is going to carry nostalgia, I think, far beyond this. People are going to have an affinity for 151. Don't get me wrong. People are going to love Charizard no matter what the era. But if you grew up on the playground with this, see, not too many kids are going to grow up on the playground with this, in my opinion, just because of the rarity. These cards, they did. So I think a good example of manufactured scarcity that's really failed was the NFT boom, right? So the non-fungible tokens that were blowing up everywhere 3-4 years ago. That was I made a video on that, on how some people are going to get hurt because of that is the definition of bad manufactured scarcity. Just because there's one, if nobody wants it and nobody's nostalgic for it, I'm gonna bring some comic books into the picture here, right? These are some early Iron Man. Issue 3, issue 6, issue 8, issue 10. These are nostalgic, and they've gone through attrition, and they're really rare to get in really good condition. There was not a limited amount of these made, but there's a limited amount now. But the amount of people that are nostalgic for it are huge, and obviously it's Iron Man. It has a huge following, and then it gets revitalized with the movies, the Marvel Universe. I picked these up before the cinematic universe came out. I've had these in my collection for a long time. These are true definition of natural attrition card or collectibles that have survived the tests of time. They have that nostalgic factor. They were considered they were 12 cents, and then they were probably, you could have got one from your friend for a candy bar or whatever back in the day. And they were traded around the schoolyard. So again, these have gone through that natural attrition. And I just think that makes something a little more special. And that's the big debate right now. Do you go into the vintage market, or do you go into modern cards? Well, it's tough. I'm personally kind of a vintage guy, but the modern cards are pretty cool. Here's something else that's pretty fun, right? There's the very first. Now this is the Australian version, the Garbage Gang of the Garbage Pail Kids. Now when I was a kid, these were the hot items. Let's look through these real fast. We've got Melton Melissa. We've got Savage Stewart, Stinky Stan, Electric Bill, Drippy Dan. Look at this one, Nerdy Norman. Look at the idea of a nerd back in the day. Now these are cards. Swell Mel. Oh my gosh, Crater Chris. These are our cards that would have gone through severe attrition. I traded these around the schoolyard like crazy. I never had first editions. I actually have picked these up later in life. My gosh, you'd never see that on a kid's trading card. Oh my gosh. And then, of course, Evil Eddie. There was 1A and 1B of all the Garbage Pail Kids. Nasty Nick was the 1A version. Again, these have gone through severe attrition, and not to mention the production quality. You can tell, look at the cut on that bad boy. Holy moly. Centering, yeah. So, again, to find these in really good shape, which I was able to do as an adult, it captures that nostalgia of cards and collectibles that have gone through natural attrition. We're going to bring this all back to Pokemon here in a minute, but I want to show you something else. These are a whole different kind of attrition, right? So here's a Charlie Daniels autograph and a Bobby the Brain Heenan autograph. These guys are dead. I love these guys. Hell of a musician, the best manager in wrestling history, in my opinion. You're not going to get those autographs anymore. So that's an even further here. Let's take that off because that case doesn't do it justice. This is a beautiful, beautiful card. And that is amazing attrition right there, right? Like, you will not ever see autographs. I mean, these guys are dead. They can't sign anymore. So, whole different type of attrition right there. A few more comics, and then we'll get to where I'm going with all this and why it's important. So these are some key issues here. We've got the first appearance of Adam Warlock and the first full Moon Knight appearance. Amazing books. Again, came out in the 70s. They were not super sought after. They were, again, basically worthless for a long time. But now everybody knows Adam Warlock. Moon Knight's got his own series. Awesome. G.I. Joe, right? Larry Hama, the original run. G.I. Joe #1. Awesome, awesome book. Again, has gone through severe attrition. This is one of my favorite comics of all time. G.I. Joe 21, the silent issue. If you've never heard of it, look it up. There's not one dialogue box in the whole issue. It's Storm Shadow versus Snake Eyes. And it is so cool. Some old Captain America books. That's the old 111, the 11th issue of Captain America. And then these were, as a child, some of my key issues I chased after. The Wolverine miniseries #1 and Wolverine itself #1. Love these books. Again, natural attrition. They were everywhere at one point, and then all of a sudden they were nowhere. And then two of my prized possessions right here, the original run, first printings of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I do not have the first issue. That's a multi-$1,000 book, but I do have issue 2 and issue 3. I was never able to acquire an issue 1. When those came out in 84 or whatever it was, there was no interest in it. There was a new series, literally small print run. That's just the case. They're actually in very good shape. I need to get some new sleeves, but they're that large Silver Age sleeve, so I need to get that. But anyway, what I wanted to bring it back to were these guys, right? Because this is modern Pokemon that we're seeing attrition right before our eyes. These are, well, there's a little manufactured scarcity just because Pokemon hasn't printed it enough to meet demand. But with the rip and shippers and how much product is being opened and sold on the market right now, I think sealed is what's going to shine in the future. I don't know the future of these cards, right? Not saying they're going to be bad, but these are all going to be kept in perfect pristine condition. Every single one of them that comes out of a box is going to be kept in that. And as boxes get broken, the populations on these are only going to go up with time, right? The populations are going to be depleted with time. So I think the play right now in modern Pokemon, yeah, these are fun. These are awesome to have. And I am going to collect Charizards, and I'm going to collect my Eevees, and I'm going to collect Latias and Latios cards because I really do like those characters. But beyond that, I think sealed is the play. I think that's where we're going to see the attrition and the value over time. There's never going to be there's going to be more searching sparks, but once the print's done, once the print run's done and the era's moved on, these will just slowly deplete over time, where these will just be added to over time. These will, again, it's such an interesting dynamic. So you can tell probably, here, we'll come back up, and I'll just talk to you guys to finish off the video here. Make sure that stopped. Again, natural attrition versus manufactured scarcity. I think there's a place in this world for both. And whether you collect one or the other doesn't, I think you see, I have lots of both. I love modern cards, but modern cards, we understand the value of them now. There's no attrition on modern cards. 1%, right, might get lost in the mail or something silly like that. But for the most part, the attrition is going to be on sealed product. That's why I think the play right now for long term. Now, if you're looking to speculate and flip and things, then by all means, modern cards are great for that. Look at the Mew, right? 3x in the past 2 months or whatever it is. It's going crazy. But again, there's only going to be more of those added to the market. And they're all going to be kept in perfect shape. Nobody's going to not know they have a valuable card. Where, somebody who opened this back in the day, that Shining Charizard, they didn't realize that it's going to be $1,000+ card in 10, 20 years. So not only do you get the nostalgic, you get the attrition, right? The loss of quantity in the market. So anyway, I was thinking about that today and thinking about modern cards. And don't get me wrong, I like modern cards, but sealed, guys. Sealed is the play. Don't open it. But I'm going to open one for you guys. We're almost there. 1,000 subscribers. We're on our way. So, look, thanks everybody for watching. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Does that make sense? Do you see the two sides of collecting that I'm coming from here, and kind of the conflict, the pull, and then you get there are people that are staunch retro collectors that only want the old stuff. And there's some people that don't even want to look at the old stuff. They don't even know about the old stuff. All they want is the new modern cards. And then there's some people that only touch the sealed. And then there's people like me that I like it all. I like it all. I'm not going to reject one because I like one over the other. But Look for those attrition plays because, as quantity dwindles, prices will go up. But, a card like this, it's awesome, but it's always going to be in mint condition. Everybody's going to put it right into a sleeve. It's not going to go anywhere. There's only going to be more added to the market. But those sealed 151 UPCs I've got, or those Evolving Skies ETBs, there's a very finite amount of those, and they get less and less as the people crack them and open them. And there are all the ripping ships and stuff. So just something to think about, some food for thought, guys. I really appreciate you watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 1,000, and we will talk to you guys in the next video.